Under Kyle Shanahan, San Francisco has really been known for being one of the more proficient running offenses across the entire league, and while some creative concepts and his outside zone scheme definitely help his running backs have success, what sets San Francisco apart from other teams that run a similar type of concept is their running backs coach, Bobby Turner. He's coached some of the greatest of all time, including Terrell Davis, and even Christian McCaffrey has said he's learned so much from Bobby Turner, it's really taken his game to the next level. And when you look at his stat line, it's hard to argue with that. And while he's a great coach, he's also equally great at finding players to fit his scheme. And I think later round picks are usually his that end up being steals, like Jordan Mason for instance. And in this year's draft class, once again as an undrafted free agent, he found another gem in the rough. His name is Cody Schrader. He was projected to be a 6th round pick. During his final year in college in 2023, he was first team All-SEC as well as being a consensus All-American. This year, he set the single season rushing record for Missouri, rushing for 1,627 yards while also racking up 14 touchdowns on the ground. But Cody Schrader isn't the biggest back, only coming in at 5'8", weighing 200 pounds. He also ran his 40-yard dash in 4.61 seconds and his 10-yard split in 1.55 seconds. So will the former walk-on be able to show off his resilience once again and find his way to become an All-American, but this time at the pro level? We're about to find out. We were first introduced to Schrader in St. Louis, Missouri, where he attended Lutheran South High School. There, he rushed for 6,759 yards and 99 touchdowns. He was a 4-time All-Conference running back and linebacker, as well as being a 3-time All-Conference Player of the Year. As a sophomore and junior, he was 2nd-team All-State to only outdo those honors as a senior, being labeled a 1st-team All-State player. But despite these accolades, he really wasn't heavily recruited and was ranked as a 0-star recruit according to 24/7 Sports. So in hopes of keeping his football dream alive of making it to the NFL, he needed to walk on to Truman State in 2018. As a freshman, he redshirted, but in 2019, he played in all 12 games with 1 start, carrying it 96 times for 605 yards and 7 touchdowns on the year. He also was pretty proficient as a wide receiver, picking up 231 yards and a receiving touchdown. During the year in 2020, he led the team with 405 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns, but their season was cut short due to COVID. Schrader's true breakout year came the following year in 2021, where he rushed for 2,074 yards and 25 touchdowns while averaging 6.9 yards a carry. Schrader finished his career at Truman with 3,069 yards on the ground and 39 touchdowns. He also was an effective option in the receiving game, racking up 60 receptions and 497 yards there. After proving he was just heads and shoulders above his D2 competition, he transferred to Missouri Tigers and he was able to play D1 ball. And during his first year in 2022, he averaged 4.4 yards a carry, rushing for 745 yards on the year and 9 touchdowns. And my favorite thing about Cody Schrader though is how he improved everywhere he went, and Missouri was no different. He seems to just continually be able to figure it out. In 2023, for instance, this is when he set the school record with 1,627 yards in a single season, averaging 5.8 yards a carry, as well as being a pretty decent in the receiving game. He had 191 yards, but what really stood out to me is how decisive he was as a running back and how that sped up his play speed. I know he didn't run a blistering fast like 4.4 or 4.3 speed, but he plays much faster than he tests. You'll just see him blowing past people. And maybe more importantly for him, when he faced stronger competition, he rose to the occasion. For instance, he went off against Georgia, LSU, and Ohio State. And in a similar way to Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy, he's extremely smart on the football field. He rarely misses the right hole, and then he sets up these crazy cutbacks early on in his run. He's also probably one of the more aware and technically sound blockers in this entire class for running backs. But there weren't just positives to his game, and that was a big reason why San Francisco was able to pick him up as an undrafted free agent. For instance, he really is smaller, so that limits his catch radius, and he's not the most explosive back. And while he put up impressive numbers at Missouri, he only played 2 years though, so many teams were just unsure about his consistent level of production against D1 talent. But now going into San Francisco, Cody Schrader might be entering a perfect situation. At Missouri, they ran a bunch of outside zone scheme, and and I saw him be extremely proficient at picking the right holes, and in San Francisco, that's really half the battle. In combination with that, as a walk-on player, you definitely need to be coachable, and he's just that, and going into San Francisco with Bobby Turner, if he's able to just be a sponge, he should be able to be an effective NFL back. So going into his first year with San Francisco, I wouldn't be surprised to see him shock many like he did at previous destinations and make the team over seemingly more talented players. But even if he doesn't do that, I would be happy to see San Francisco store him away on the practice squad to truly develop him. I think this could be a true diamond in the rough. But these are just my thoughts on Cody Schrader, and I'd like to hear your thoughts down below. It would also mean a ton if you liked and subscribed, and as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.